Disclaimer: viewers of this episode might find some content offensive, disturbing, or personally wrong. I don't care, and I'm definitely not here to judge or dictate what may or may not be said during this interview. So without further ado, I spent 21 minutes with a furry. Today, I interviewed a semi-furry to get a little more insight into the world of being a furry. Whether it comes down to just wearing the suit because it completes the human, or if it really all just comes down as an escape from something a lot deeper than most people would think. So I'm joined here by, go ahead, what do you go by? What is your furry name, or even just your actual name, if you care?
Slushy, and my real name's Maria.
Alright, Maria, if you don't mind me calling you that.
Go ahead.
Let's get straight into it. How long have you been a furry for? Or a semi-furry?
Like 4 years.
4 years? Alright. Is it always just been...
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years? Has it always just been, like, fursuit and whatever else you do as a furry? Which, hopefully, we can get into in a minute. Or is it just a title that you give yourself?
When I first, started becoming a furry, it wasn't, fursuits and stuff, because I was a kid and broke. So I kind of just pretended I could draw and wear, cat ears and stuff. I don't do that anymore. I can't draw or shit, but oh well.
So is it just, middle school you walking through with cat ears and slowly transitioning your way into full-on suits?
It was 6th and 7th grade, and then 8th and so on, kind of stopped. But yeah, I got my first suit in 2019, I think.
What would you say the point of the suits are? Is it something with a lot more mental meaning, or is it just a way to identify more as a furry for fun?
It's not really for either, to be honest. I wear them just because they're fun, and
Yeah.
I look like a giant fluffy dog, and kids like that, from my experiences. Sometimes it depends on the suits, but sometimes it can give you better body image. And when you have the suit on, you have more confidence in your body. So, and then I have 2 suits that I can't wear due to emotional trauma with the suits. It's so complicated.
Yeah. Is there anything that goes on just in the daily life of a furry? If that term is okay to use.
We're kind of normal people. We're normal humans, so we eat, breathe, go to work.
Yeah.
We go to work or school. My work is making suits, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't do as much as I should. I lay on the couch and watch TikToks most of the day.
Is the furry life just a second personality or second life, or is it incorporated into your only life? It's a hobby?
It's a hobby. It's not like a second life. I'm me, and the suits are part of me, kind of.
Yeah.
If I can, I enjoy going out and putting them on. Just because.
So you walk around publicly with the suits on, and it's just you, but with almost what would be clothes for someone who's not a furry? It's just more clothes?
No, it's not more clothes. It's more of a mascot costume,
a
Halloween costume.
A mascot costume. That makes sense.
I'll have meets, once a month or something in my hometown, and we'll go to, the park or something. It's usually not busy because I live in, a teeny itty-bitty town. But, and then we just kind of jack around with each other and play. We're stupid. That's about it. Or we just sit and talk. That's about it. And then fur cons. I have one that's coming up that I'm dealing at. I'll sell my stuff there.
At least you know how to make a living off of it.
Yeah.
So, next thing I was going to ask you about, not really, because I don't have anything written down, is how did you start off with the furry? Because I know you mentioned 6th, 7th grade, you were just wearing around the ears, and then you kind of grew into it more. What part of it was just like when was that moment that you decided you were gonna go full out with this?
Well, so I used to put my hair back in a ponytail, and I had like these wispies on the sides, and I wore like those like metal cat ears you can buy at like Walmart or something.
Yeah.
Like not the Halloween ones, like the actual headband ones. I
Yeah.
wore those to keep my hair back, and I was bullied for. Oh, and I like to draw like dogs and cats.
Yeah.
Like, and I had no idea what a furry was. And there was
Yeah.
these like four kids in my guitar class who bullied me for being a furry. It wasn't just in the guitar class. That's when it started. And they always called me like a bully. No, they didn't call me a bully. They used to call me like a furry all the time, and I had no idea what that was. So I like kind of like looked it up on YouTube and stuff, and saw like, whoa, this is cool. You can be like your own character in real life and like go to conventions and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's neat. So then I was like, okay, I guess I'm a furry. So I kind of just vibed with it. And then I was like, wait, I could buy a suit myself someday. So I asked my mom for Christmas for a fursuit, and she got me my very first one. And then that's where my addiction started of fursuits.
When you asked your mom, was there any just like awkward part of that? Whenever she like even questioned maybe about it?
So for like the first year, she was like, her and my grandma and my like mom's boyfriend at the time, they were all like, no, that's for sexual stuff. Like, no, I'm never buying you a fursuit, and no. And I was like, okay, and it made me mad because I knew that wasn't what it was all about.
Yeah.
Eventually, like she looked into it more and blah blah blah, and she was like, okay. Her boyfriend at the time was like, no, don't buy her the suit. And my mom bought me the suit. Took like a year to make it. It was dramatic. But, and now she just like fully supports me. She takes me to conventions. She like helps me. Well, she doesn't really help me with anything, but she's like, I always show her what I make, like suit wise. She's like, that's so cool. She wants me to make her like a tail or something to wear at cons.
At least, she supports it. Maybe it's not everyone,
yeah, she's
but
running
it's
my
someone.
dealer's table at the convention I'm going to in September because I want to run around and do my stuff.
At least you've got some other help. It's not just you in this. And I noticed...
Yeah. Nobody cares in my family.
Yeah. I noticed earlier you mentioned something about not being like every other furry, and like you'll actually bully some other furries just for fun.
So it depends. It depends on how they're acting. If the kid is running around on all fours and eating out of bowls and wearing collars, I find that very like cringy. Like it literally cringes my soul.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yo, you're putting like a real bad statement on furries, because most furries just make and wear their suits and go to conventions, and that's about it. Like, it's a hobby. It's just like somebody who plays video games or somebody who has a sport. It's just something we do. But, like, and people always say, like, we want to be animals. There's, like, a group called, like, Terrarium. Something starts with like a T, terrarians, I don't know how to say it. But they actually believe they're animals, and they will like run around on all fours and stuff. And that is something that I do not like. Like, we get bullied for them. So it's so stupid.
Yeah. You're all just classified into that one group. Like, if you're a furry, you're somebody that wears the suits, thinks they're an animal, and acts like an animal whenever they can.
Yeah, like, when I'm in a suit, I don't act like an animal. I mean, I act stupid like all the time without suit, too. So, I mean, I just kind of, when I'm in a suit, it's easier for me to stand different than I do in, like, real life, because, like, stand or just do stuff because you can't see my face.
Is it kind of like
and
that
it kind of makes me just more comfortable.
Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of just boosts your self-confidence.
So
especially in a full suit.
Oh yeah? Would you say it's like a way to... I know you said it wasn't a second personality, but it's a way to almost hide who you are and then truly be yourself without the other judgment of people being reflected on you, but instead on like who the fursuit is.
Kinda. Like, so my fursuits, I don't have personalities for. Some people like completely like write backstories and have full
Yeah.
personalities that they change when they're in a suit. All of my suits are just basically how I am.
Yeah.
Maybe more like when in public, like at a fur con or something. It's more like I'm more open and out there instead of being. I'm a social butterfly when I'm in a suit because, you know, when you're like imagine sitting next to somebody in real life without anything on your face and just looking at them or like touching their nose or something. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
really awkward just in real life?
Yeah, I can see how that'd be
When you're in a
pretty awkward.
suit, it just doesn't really matter because it's kind of just how it be.
Yeah. It lumps, like, it's not you that they're staring at, which means that you could be yourself inside the suit, and it's not reflected on you, is
No
what I'm kind of
judgment.
getting from yeah, no judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does depend on which suit I'm in.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. What's the difference between the suits?
So, I don't have personalities for my suits, but I do at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't completely change myself for one of my suits, but like, so I have a canine suit that's all like chibi looking and really cute,
Yeah.
and I can act more stupid and silly in him. But then I have my other suit who's kind of like a chiller looking suit. Like
Yeah.
that one in my realistic suit, I don't do stupid stuff in because it makes them kind of look stupid.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't match. So I kind of just walk around in those and be like chiller, I guess.
Yeah. So it'd be
I have
like
3 main suits I use.
3 main suits, and is that like the K9, the chill one, and the one you're wearing now, or is there some other ones?
So there's Slushy, which is this one. There's Gavin, and then there's Kita.
Okay, which
Slushy's
one?
a canine. Gavin is a jackalope, and Kita is a realistic African wild dog suit.
Never heard of an African wild dog, but I'll make sure to look that one up.
It's a spotted dog, basically. It's a
All right.
spotted dog.
All right. I had something, but I just completely lost it. I think it was gonna be something along the lines of Hold up, I'm gonna jump cut all this because I cannot think of it. Alright, I noticed you mentioned earlier something about the German Shepherd being a he. Does that kind of file
I
into...
don't have a German Shepherd.
Oh, you said
he's
canine, not
actually
German
just a
Shepherd.
wolf.
You said canine, my bad.
But yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
you mentioned about the
See,
canine
there's
being
female
the he.
suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like female suits, and then like there's male suits. Like I don't have any female suits except one.
Yeah.
But my best friend uses that one. I barely put her on.
Yeah.
But all of my characters are guys. I don't know why. It's just I don't like female characters. Like I don't want like breasts on suit and stuff.
Yeah.
I just kind of I don't know. It doesn't change how I act in them or talk in them
Yeah.
at all. I like them more.
Yeah. So how would you how would you classify being a quote-unquote furry? Would you say it's would you say it's a way to be someone else, or just a way of life almost?
It depends on people. Some people use it to cope. Some people revolve their whole entire life around it. And then there's just some people who have it as a hobby, just like somebody who plays football.
Yeah.
It's just something they enjoy doing, and they can do it as a job or as something like when I'm sad. I can put on a suit and feel a little bit better just because, I don't know why, just because I enjoy wearing my suits.
Yeah.
And I've never, like, this is like nothing regarding what you just asked, but I figured you were probably going to ask it. Like, the sexual stuff in suits.
Oh, yeah?
I've never done any of that because it can be gross. And
Yeah.
all of my suits are safe for work because I find no use in mersuiting.
Yeah. So, whenever somebody is using furry as an insult, like saying you're being a furry or something like that, how would you take that as, knowing that, like, your version of a
It's
furry
not
isn't the
a...
same as others?
Yeah, no, it's not an insult because furry is the name of the hobby.
Yeah.
So that's like going up to somebody and being like, "Oh my god, you're a gamer." Like, it's not really an insult because that's what they do.
Yeah. So if
Like, "Oh my god, you're a babysitter." It's just...
if somebody were to be walking around school with like I know I've seen some people with like dog collars or a cat headband, like you were saying you did back in the 6th, 7th grade. Would you call that full out furry, or is that just a stylistic choice?
It depends. Some people classify themselves as furries when they do that. Like starter furries, a lot of starter furries do that because I used to do that. I never barked at anything, but like I wore the ears and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but some people do that as like a style choice, like collars and stuff. And then,
Yeah.
but then there's some people who are cat girls
Yeah.
or puppy girls. That's not a furry. That's a whole different category.
Where is the line drawn between furry and what you were just saying, like cat girl or just human with
Honestly,
a collar on?
there is no line. It's just, it depends on what the person says they are.
It all comes down to preference.
Yep, it comes down to what they say. Like, if I said I'm not a furry, I could be a cosplayer and a costume maker.
Yeah. It's the same thing that makes like Star Wars cosplayers not just robotic furries. It just comes down to how you would call it.
It's basically a group in cosplay.
A group in cosplay with certain costumes.
Yes, just like cosplay, a lot of them. There's anime cosplayers, video game cosplayers, movie cosplayers. And then there's like furry, animal cosplayers, basically. It's your own character.
Yeah. Has there ever been like a time whenever you've questioned if you want to be, or if you want to continue being a furry, or keep going down the path and maybe even get bullied for it, or just judgment from other people, or are you committed and you know that it's never permanent?
So, the bullying factor, I just genuinely don't care what people say about me, like, at all. Because there's no point in it. And I have thought, like... So, I've thought about not being a furry, but I've never thought about getting rid of my suits.
Yeah.
It's like, you kind of have an emotional attachment to a suit. It depends.
They're a part of you now?
Just like some... Kind of, yeah. Just like some of my suits have emotional damage attached to them, meaning I can't put them on because it just kind of hurts, you know? But I've thought about not being a furry, but I've never thought about getting rid of my suits.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, because I don't want to have to edit too much, correct me if I'm wrong, but considering yourself a furry, or being a furry, all comes down to the preference of how you want to live your life, and for some people it's just a way to express yourself, but to others it's a way to either help with or just completely hide emotional trauma or pain that you might be feeling at that moment.
Basically, yeah. It just all comes down to the end of the day. Like, if you are a furry, you're a furry. If you don't want to be a furry, you're not a furry. Nobody can categorize you. It's just what you want to be.
It all comes down to preference.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Slushy. I have completely forgotten your name because I've only heard it once. I am so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not used to this, but thank you, Slushy, for giving me a little more insight into the world of being a furry and what it
You're
entails to
welcome.
preference yourself as one. Hope that now I can
Welcome.
walk the streets of VR chat knowing that furries aren't just the weirdest people on the planet, but they are instead a person expressing themselves in ways most people wouldn't think to.
Sometimes they're the weirdest people. Just keep that in mind.
Sometimes. But most
But
of the
I've
time.
seen weirder people who aren't furries.
Yeah. I've seen weirder people personally, so.
I've seen gamers who are pretty bad. Discord mod moment.
Yeah.